Now that we've arrived on the Gulf Coast, the distance that we're traveling in Cupcake each day is fairly light. This week we traveled roughly 114 miles or 183 kilometers. We spent several days at the Pearl River campgrounds and decided to jump onto a boat with the Honey Island Swamp Tours. This is the first time we've headed into the swamp on a tour boat, so we're pretty excited. We went flying down the river after we'd left the pier. It was nice to feel the wind in our hair again. It's been too long since we've been out here on the water. Louisiana has an issue with feral pigs. They're invasive, their population is growing, and the state wants them gone. Shoot them with a handgun, a bow and arrow, shoot them at night, shoot them from a helicopter, shoot them with a silencer on your weapon, shoot them with an infrared scope. Just shoot every little piggy. Imagine our surprise hearing all the different ways to kill feral pigs to find one who eats marshmallows and responds to whistle commands from our tour boat captain. Our tour boat captain explained that the logs and the debris in the river are a natural part of the swamp. The logs flow into this section and become lodged in place and catch other debris that's flowing past. If the debris is cleared out today, more debris would find its place during the next storm. Our tour, while only 2 hours in duration, was plenty long enough for us, and we were happy to head back to camp and enjoy a quiet New Year's Eve. A rainstorm and the fireworks kept us awake late into the early morning hours.
First thing that I do, which is not the same that Steve does, is I get my gloves out, keep them in here. Steve touches this stuff without gloves. Not me.
Steve cleans his hands afterwards too.
So do I. Oh, well, what I forgot to do is open this. So our sewer hose and our clean out hose are both in here. It's a little slide out tray. Normally I would probably close that, just use it as a lever to hold down. I like to put this under just in case there's any gray water left. And sometimes I can open it, sometimes I can't. With one hand. There. So I know it would be gray water because that's the last thing that we run. So if anything does come out, it is definitely gray water. Created a little suction that time. And then I'm going to put this, tighten it on. Okay, so then for me, inside here, the gray water and our black water handles. For me, I always open the gray water for just a second and make sure I don't have any leaks down here. Once I'm sure there's no leak, I open the black water. Looks like I need to hold this. So we had that elbow, clear elbow, which we didn't have last year in our van, and it's much easier to use. It's a little bit gross to look at, but it's just brown water. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a poo rolling past or toilet paper, nothing. It's just brown water that we see. So it's not that gross, but it is handy having that clear elbow to know when you got most of the gunk out. This is a little bit of a... So what happened to us that last night, there was a rainstorm, a lot of rain, and those vents on the top that Steve previously has glued down have since come unglued and come off again. So we believe that the rainwater went down those pipes and filled our black water and gray water tanks. Yesterday we had about 1/3 full, which is, you know, like 2-3 weeks of boondocking time. Today we were full. So You kind of hear that it stopped going. I just lift this a little. After we flush the tank with the water hose, we turn off the black water by pushing the lever down, open up the gray water, and let it do its thing. Oh yeah, closing back both of the things, valves. Don't panic, it's just gray water. Normally I would hook up the hose, but I forgot about this part and I already put the hose away. So just gives it a little wash out before putting it away. And put the lid back on here. This lid doesn't close for some reason. Normally they do. And I'm just going to shove this back into its hidey hole. Now our hose came with this, but we've never been able to fit it back on. We should just throw it away because it's kind of worthless, but we keep it. Alright, so that's that. Before I lock up, wash off hands. Before I touch anything on the inside of the car, get my hand sanitizer. Technically, I don't ever touch anything gross, but I don't want to touch anything inside of our car after I touch all of that. So that's it.
So I'm back up on the roof again, doing my not so favorite chore of trying to get those guys like glued into place. So it seems like every time we're going through any kind of branches or whatever, it's just knocking these things loose. And then last night we had like a rainstorm that came through and it filled up, almost all the way filled up our black water tank and our gray water tank because the water is just coming in through the open gaps up here. So I'm gonna glue them again. Join us next week as we visit the Confederate Presidential Library and wander through historic cemeteries.